When you hear the word sewer, what do you think of first? Do you think pipes or human waste? Wow, that would be the most obvious thoughts, but what if I told you that sewers are synonymous with homes as well? Let's go down this rabbit hole and uncover those who live in the sewers. Sewer people, also known as mole people, are those who live in sewers. They are also referred to as tunnel dwellers or tunnel people, and they live inside abandoned tunnels, mine shafts, service tunnels, and even the sewers in some parts of the world. The most recent case of a mole person went viral. A woman in the Philippines crawled out of a drainage hole on the sidewalk. The person who snapped these eerie photos posted it to the r/Makati subreddit, a dedicated community of people who live, work and roam in Makati. Makati, or better yet Makati City, is a giant city in the region known as Metro Manila in the Philippines. The Redditor gave some context as to how they encountered this strange event, and it goes as follows. Mole people? I had just finished at the gym and was walking back home, camera in hand, doing a bit of a photo walk. Just at the corner of VA Rufino and Adelantado, I saw something that made me freeze. A head coming out of a street drain. Instinct kicked in. I started snapping photos. Couldn't believe my eyes. But then she started running towards me. For a second, I tensed, ready to defend myself if needed. The adrenaline hit hard, but just as quickly, a military guy on a scooter shouted, "Wag!" So I stood down. She ran past me, the military guy in pursuit. A few pedestrians, motorcyclists, and even the traffic enforcer just stood there, stunned, confused, maybe even a little amused. Makati streets, man, they never fail to surprise. Has anyone else ever encountered something like this in Makati? I hope these people get help, to be honest. There's nothing as terrifying as a lady coming out of a street train and chasing you. I mean, Pennywise can take some inspiration from her. Jokes aside, that's horrific. I can't even begin to imagine the panic this person had to feel as a sewer lady came running at them. My first question was, why did she run? Or better yet, was she running away from someone or something in the sewer? Well, I would assume she didn't necessarily run away from someone or something. She probably just ran in an attempt to not be seen by the street drain. A while after this post was made, OP made an update on another post we will be looking at later, and they said that the lady who crawled out of the drain was substance-free and just someone looking out for shelter. Multiple eyewitnesses told police that she's part of the LGBT movement, and personal items and clothes were found in the canal belonging to her. You would think the story of this lady ends there, right? Wrong. A commenter on one of his posts said that they saw that lady in another part of the city wearing different clothes while she was being investigated. That's odd, right? She shouldn't be let free until the investigation is done. Why on earth would they allow her to walk free? That's so odd, not gonna lie. The police ended up covering that hole the lady came out of. Apparently, there's also people living in a creek near a place referred to as Makati Medical Center. OP went to the area and there he saw a man named Jerwin coming out of a pipe. The police have been scoping out the area for hours at that point. Opie talked to the man, and after stating he wasn't with the police, the man smiled and had a discussion with Opie about the mole people in the area, as another man named Rommel came out of the pipe. Jerwin has been living like this for 3 years, and Rommel, 10 years. Jerwin used to be a delivery guy for a corporation, but when the boss passed away, he lost his job, unfortunately. He used to stay in an informal settlement, but that got demolished by the city to make room for a new project. That's how he ended up here. There's a lot of people living underground in the area, and I'll let Rommel and Jerwin explain. They live in the Botanical Garden, their name for the creek beside Makati Med. Around 15 of them call it home. They told me the 2 culverts flanking the mouth of the creek, shallow. They don't really lead anywhere, just a few small holes where the sewage trickles out. But the creek itself? It stretches all the way to Don Bosco. Rommel cracked a joke, saying past that it's almost inhabitable. There's another group that lives down the Don Bosco side. Different people, different rules. Us folks, Rommel says, spend our days cleaning, clearing the creek and canals so the water flows better. Some help out nearby jolly jeeps, hauling trash, doing odd jobs for a few coins and meals. Us here in the Botanical Garden, we're not connected to the Don Bosco side. He rattled off the names of his community members here in the Botanical Garden. Rommel, Jerwin, Jerome, Beck, Bibi, Aki, Jane, Lester, Arnold, Buko, Nam. They couldn't name the last few, 4 new faces, still figuring things out, still trying to find a place in the small, fragile community. Jerwin and Jane? Magasawa, they said with a grin. Jerome and Bibi? Also a couple. Bibi, the woman in the photo, was confirmed by Jerwin. I asked him straight up, is she really a woman? Because when I spoke to my indirect source, she told me the police said it was a man dressed as a woman. Jerwin just shook his head and explained, the person the cops might have been talking about is Beck, a gay man, always in short shorts, hairline so high it practically touches the sky, with a long ponytail and a grin that never seems to leave his face. Beck has been seen crawling in and out of the same hole. There's even a photo from December posted by another social media user. But the woman who came out of the canal last Monday, that was Bibi. We don't live in the canals, he explained. We hide in them, from the sun, from the police, sometimes to stash what little we have, sometimes to keep each other safe. It's a temporary escape, a place where they sort through what little they have. Scraps from dumpsters, hand-me-downs, alms from strangers. They're not oblivious to the stigma. According to Jerwin, the police constantly harass them, not for any crime, but because of the way they look, the way they smell. Though, to be honest, they didn't smell bad, not that it should matter. Jerwin also admitted some people in their situation do use those spots to stash things they shouldn't. Stolen items, maybe. They learned about the nooks and crannies from the so-called Ane gang. That's a whole other thread I'll have to follow up on. But back to Bibi. That day, May 26th, she was just resting, trying to escape the heat when the sound of traffic woke her. It was around 5 p.m, time for the group to come together and eat. She didn't want to miss it, whatever scraps they'd managed to gather for the day. So she crawled out of the canal just like that. No master plan, no escape plot. Just a woman trying to get back to her community, her belongings, her life, in the creek they call home. And the lighter in her hand in the photo, and Rommel's at the time of this conversation, they used to light cigarettes, to see in the canals and culverts. Opie then bought them food and let them be. The two men went back to the pipe, and amongst the people who stepped out was Bibi. Whoa, what a wild ride. So yeah, at the end of the day, this Bibi lady that went viral, it wasn't anything sinister. It was just a poor lady trying to get back to her community to eat and to get back to her belongings. I had no idea what this mole people entitled before I made this video, and boy, it is disturbing. Someone in the comments of this post said that they are, quote, from Quezon City. A Grab driver once told me snatchers and batong hammocks would dip into the sewer near Delta along West Avenue, then emerge in the E. Rodriguez area. Not sure if it's true, but the story has stuck with me. Maybe what's happening in the photos is something similar? As you can see, the distance between West Avenue and the E. Rodriguez area is vast. That's insane that people travel in the sewers for that long, if it's true what this commenter is saying. From what I saw in the comments, people who live in the Quezon City area regularly see homeless people who live in the sewers. I bet the people who live there are so used to it that it doesn't even faze them if someone pops out of a sewer right next to them. Opie also made an update comment in the post, and they went back to the hole where the lady crawled out of, and here is the photo and text below it. 2:56 AM. It's surprisingly wide, and the canal itself didn't seem to be that big, but there is a pipe that leads to somewhere else. If the comments here didn't make me fear Pennywise coming out, I would have lodged my hand into the hole to get a better view. Yeah, that hole is definitely big enough for someone to squeeze through. Could there really be mole people living underground in the sewer system of the Philippines? Well, yeah, maybe not 24/7 living there, but they are probably just homeless sleeping on the streets and then go back into the tunnels to collect their stuff because it's safer there. There was a commenter that said there's a rumor in Makati. A secret group of people live under the city in the old abandoned tunnels. The rumor goes deeper, stating that these people in the tunnels are to blame for people going missing above ground, especially those who are substance addicts or homeless. Many people think they just disappear or leave the area, but perhaps these mole people snatch them and have them join the group. This rumor is mostly kept under wraps, as it's said that some of those who speak of the rumor has family members in this supposed secret group. It's so scary to imagine people living in dark, abandoned tunnels underneath the cities, watching you from storm drains. If you think that the concept of mole people are just pipe dreams, then let's take a look at other mole people stories from all over the world. Here's what's known as the Edgehill tunnels, found in Liverpool in the UK. How did these tunnels come to be? Long story short, a man named Joseph Williamson and his wife Elizabeth moved to Edgehill in 1805. He built a bunch of houses there, all with cellars. He loved cellars so much that he started connecting them, which then turned into a labyrinth of tunnels. You might be wondering why he did this. Apparently, these houses were built on top of sandstone, and it's believed by many that he ran an illegal quarry business. After Joseph passed away, the tunnels were used as a municipal waste dump. The smell got so bad that it was eventually closed up, until a man named William Hand found the tunnels in the early 1900s and wrote an article about it. After him, a group of volunteers broke their way into the tunnels with equipment. Although people don't live down there, you can go on tours to see the tunnels. I would say Joseph would be considered a mole person as he used to dig tunnels and cellars. But in Las Vegas, there are actually people who live underground. Las Vegas has countless abandoned mine shafts, tunnels, and unused service routes. These people live here underneath the strip. They've been living inside of the sewers and built themselves bedding and all. They struggle constantly with their shelter being flooded, which can be extremely dangerous. Matt O'Brien, a local author in the Las Vegas Strip area, spent nearly 5 years exploring life beneath the city and wrote a book called Beneath the Neon, and it started the Shine a Light Foundation. The goal of this foundation is to help the homeless people taking refuge in these tunnel systems. The charity helps tunnel residents by providing supplies such as clothes and underwear, bottled water, and food. In China, people crawl out of drainage holes as well, just like in the Philippines. I encountered this in a Chinese city. I was backpacking and it was 12 years ago, so I don't recall which city. Lady crawled out of a sewer revealing a uni-dread down to the ground. Passerbys held their breath and crossed the street. In New York City, there are a lot of these mole people as well, living underground, away from society. All of this just goes to show that there could be people living, sleeping, eating right below your feet and you wouldn't even know it. It's so sad and disturbing all at the same time. Our people are forced to live those kinds of lives due to substance abuse, homelessness, and joblessness. And it also goes to show that the media might make it out to be something sinister, something dark. But at the end of the day, it could just be normal people that are forced to live in these environments due to unforeseen circumstances. Maybe a family member passes away and this leaves the person homeless or something like that. And I would advise people to try and not be too judgmental when they hear stories like this, because at the end of the day, it can be something very lighthearted, something small, and it's all to do with people's lives. Like, try and not judge too harshly, because what would you do if you were in that situation? You would probably do the same. You would probably also be living in those environments if you didn't have any other choice. Thank you for making it to the end of the video. If you liked what you saw, then tap the like button and share with others you think might be interested as well. Feel free to comment down below your thoughts and opinions, and subscribe to soothe that fascination.